All right, welcome everyone to another deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at, well, something that seems like it's always in the news these days, artificial intelligence.
AI, yeah, it
Yeah.
really does feel like it's everywhere and evolving so fast.
Absolutely. And to really get a grip on all of this, all this change and all these developments, we're going to be diving into an article from the article's Surfing Archives.
Yeah, I love this piece. It's a bit of a time capsule,
Yeah.
It gives us a fascinating glimpse into how experts were understanding and discussing AI not that long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. A snapshot of where things stood and where people thought they might be going. And I think it's going to be really valuable for us to see how that aligns with, with where we are now.
Definitely.
So our mission today is to sort of unpack this article, pull out the key takeaways about AI's historical progress, how far it's actually come, and then really get into what the experts were saying and still are saying about its capabilities, where things are headed.
And maybe confront some of the fears and anxieties that often surround AI as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a topic that definitely sparks a lot of debate and concern. But okay, before we get into, those big questions, I think it's really helpful to start with the foundation.
The basics.
Yeah, and this article does a great job of setting the stage by talking about the evolution of computing itself.
Right, because without those advances in computing, we wouldn't even be having this conversation about AI. It all stems from that.
Exactly. So, think back to those very early computers, the kind of things that took up entire rooms. I mean, they were massive.
Huge, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you see pictures of them, and it's hard to believe they even functioned. And their main role was really just crunching numbers, solving really complex math equations, and storing data.
Right, basically giant calculators and filing
Pretty
cabinets.
much, yeah. But compare that to what we have today. I mean, we're carrying around these incredibly powerful devices in our pockets.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is. We've gone from those room-sized machines to smartphones that can play movies, control
Mhm.
complex systems, connect us globally. I mean, the leap in capability is just, it's staggering.
It really is, and the article points out something that I think is crucial here. It's not just about the speed or the size, it's about the impact this has had on human tasks, especially those that require incredible precision.
Yeah, the reduction of human error that computers have enabled, especially in fields like, aviation or medicine or scientific research, it's enormous.
Exact. I mean, think about air traffic control.
Or manufacturing those tiny computer chips.
Right. The level of accuracy and efficiency that computers bring to those kinds of tasks is something humans just couldn't consistently achieve.
Right, and that consistency in data processing, which is really a core strength of computing, it sort of highlights one of the current limitations of AI.
Okay, how so?
Well, while computers are amazing at, following rules and crunching numbers, they struggle when things get, I don't know, messy.
Messy, yeah.
Yeah, like when data is incomplete or contradictory or there's a need for intuition or a creative leap, that's where human intelligence still has a real edge.
Interesting. So it's not just about raw processing power. There's something else at play.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the amazing progress in computing, and that naturally leads us to, I think, one of the big, elephants in the room when we talk about AI, and that's artificial general intelligence.
AGI. Yeah, that's the idea that computers could one day achieve, human level intelligence, sentience, consciousness, all of that.
Right, and the article really dives into this widespread fear that AI could reach that point and potentially even surpass us, maybe even making humanity obsolete.
Yeah, the computer rules scenario. And, I think Hollywood has had a big hand in shaping those anxieties.
Oh, absolutely. All those movies about sentient machines deciding, that humans are the problem and taking over.
Right. And those stories, they really tap into some deep-seated fears about technology and our place in the world.
They do, but what's interesting is that the article says that most researchers actually dismiss this idea of a sudden AI takeover, at least in the way it's often portrayed.
Right. I mean, the current thinking is that AI as we know it is unlikely to develop those basic human emotions or that nuanced, reactive, often irrational way of responding to the world that we have.
Because really we're talking about systems built on logic and code.
Exactly. And that brings us to another really important point, defining what we actually mean by artificial intelligence.
Yeah, because it's a term that gets thrown around a lot.
It does, and this article provides a really straightforward definition. It says that AI is simply the ability of computers to think, but the key word there is artificial.
Right, so it's not organic intelligence like we see in humans and animals.
Exactly. It's intelligence that's derived from human design, from the programming that we create. It's us essentially trying to build systems that can mimic aspects of human thought.
Like learning, problem solving, decision making.
Right. All those things that we typically associate with intelligence. And a lot of the current research, as the article points out, is focused on making those artificial systems more human-like in how they learn.
And that's where we get into the development of those intelligence chips, right?
Yes. And what's really fascinating about these chips is that they're designed to allow machines to learn more independently from external sources without needing constant human input.
So instead of always being told what to do, these machines could start to identify patterns, make connections, learn from experience.
Exactly. That's the idea, to move towards AI that's more adaptable, more able to learn on its own.
It's pretty amazing stuff, but the article also brings us to a pretty crucial point about the limitations of where AI is right now.
Right, and it all comes down to that fundamental difference between human and artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Even the most advanced AI, at this point, can't really act outside the boundaries of its programming.
It's still governed by logic, by the rules that we give it.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
doesn't have emotions, it doesn't have intuition, it doesn't factor in things that aren't logical in the way that humans often do. And yeah, the article uses a really great example to illustrate this, and that's the famous chess-playing computer versus the human grandmaster.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
So there was this big push by a company to create a computer system that could finally beat the world's best chess players. And they were convinced that they had created the perfect chess-playing machine.
With all that processing power and the ability to analyze what millions of moves and all the statistical probabilities,
I mean, they had essentially fed it every chess game ever played.
it's hard to even imagine the amount of data involved.
That's mind-boggling. But, when they put this supposed unstoppable machine up against a human grandmaster,
What
the human won.
Really? So despite all that processing power, all that logic, the human mind still found a way to win. That's fascinating.
It is, and the article really digs into why that happened. It says that the grandmaster was able to think outside the box in a way that the computer just couldn't.
So the computer was stuck in its logical pathways, while the human player was able to come up with something new, something unpredictable.
Exactly. The grandmaster was able to see patterns that went beyond the immediate calculations, to make intuitive leaps, to be creative in their strategy.
Wow, so that example really highlights the fact that even with all the advancements, AI still operates on a fundamentally different level than human intelligence.
And that leads to the article's conclusion that, we're still a long way off from creating those truly sentient machines, those AI overlords that we sometimes see in science fiction.
Right, that Hollywood scenario of AI replacing humanity, that's not happening anytime soon.
And, the article suggests that for AI to even approach that level of human-like thought, it would likely need to develop something akin to emotion.
So it's not just about logic, it's about the interplay between logic and those more intangible aspects of human thinking.
Exactly.
So to kind of wrap things up, it seems like our deep dive today has really revealed a lot. I mean, we've seen this incredible progress in computing power, which has laid the groundwork for AI, but we've also seen that current AI is still really limited by its reliance on logic. It lacks that human element of emotional intelligence, that intuition, that creativity.
Absolutely.
And that's why, according to this article, at least, the idea of a sudden AI takeover, that's still firmly in the realm of science fiction.
Exactly. It's a great reminder that while AI is definitely advancing, it's still far from replicating the full complexity of human thought.
Yeah, and it's something to keep in mind as we continue to explore the possibilities and the potential, but also the challenges of artificial intelligence.
Absolutely. And, thinking about this article and the Grandmaster's victory, it really makes me wonder, what other uniquely human cognitive abilities do you think will remain beyond the reach of AI? Things like creativity, intuition, empathy, common sense. What do you think?
That's a great question. I guess we'll have to keep thinking about that one. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you then.